Neighbors from hell are the worst, and in this one we're going to talk about a neighbor who has pit bulls, a neighbor who smokes so much weed it's making his children uncomfortable, a neighbor who's just committing crimes left and right, and you know who you are.
Oh, yeah, look at
You know it's this guy. What? You're racist if you thought it was him. Okay, hardly legal.
I love dogs.
Sean Carter, that is a fake name, but you are a real person. You've got some terrible neighbors. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, so I've been living in the same house for about 15 years, and a friend of mine sold the house. He lived next door to me. When he sold it, it was bought by an investment company.
Okay.
And they started taking in renters, which is fine, but then they started taking in Section 8 renters.
What were the Section 8 people like?
Well, the one before last, she got arrested at Walmart because she tried to attack somebody with a hatchet. So that was kind of
the person
that was our
deserve it
baseline.
though, or no? It's okay. All right. So last one was potential murderer, and then the current one better, worse.
I don't know. It kind of depends. For me and my family, it's worse right now because we started out okay, and eventually they just started getting to where they don't work, so they just sit around and smoke weed all day. And I mean, if you want to smoke that in your house, it's fine, or in your backyard, but they do it on the porch and everything, and it's seeping into my kids' room, and it's terrible.
Wow.
Have your kids been sleeping better though?
I'm sorry?
Have your kids been sleeping better?
Oh, well, I wish. I don't know if it's a strand issue or what, but
maybe they could switch to a sativa.
Yeah.
No, indica.
Okay. Apparently, I don't smoke enough weed. Everyone else. Okay, so that does sound honestly like it's a real nuisance, and you're saying that they're just smoking all day, every day.
Well, that's just a minor inconvenience. But the biggest problem is they have two pit bulls, and they're pretty vicious dogs. I mean, they've gotten out several times. They've almost tried to get my son. Just yesterday, after I talked to one of the guys on y'all's show, one of them broke through our fence board and ran in my backyard while my kids were playing outside in the backyard.
Now, was that the neighbor or the pit bull?
Oh man, it was the two dogs broke through.
Okay.
They broke through a fence board and tried to get me and my kids, and I was able to, get it out. But, that kind of stuff's been happening off and on. We have police reports. Animal control has been out here several times. They chewed up the phone box in our other neighbor's yard, and wow. They were held liable for their phone box cost from AT&T. And we've gotten so many police reports from them fighting each other, domestic disturbances, vicious dog complaints, and every time the police come out here, they kind of seem to just kind of hang out and talk and be friendly with them, and nothing ever gets done.
Wow. This honestly, like, the more you talk, it sounds like this is a real situation. It's a real danger. Like, it went from annoying neighbors to kind of a dangerous situation. How about our guests? Have you guys ever had a bad neighbor situation?
I have had some bad neighbors.
Tell me about it.
Just cat piss all over the place.
Oh.
We sold the house and moved.
Yeah.
Wow. No one ever fucking attacked me with their dogs, though. I would just get two bigger dogs, though.
Yeah.
Skip that. Go to bears.
I'm just going to kill the dogs. You should just set up a hunting blind in your backyard and put kibbles trails into the backyard.
We are in Texas.
What city are you in, caller?
It's a suburb about 20 minutes northwest of Houston.
And so you're telling me the cops are coming out, and there's a odor of marijuana, and the cops are very chill about it?
Oh yeah, every time when they went in yesterday, they had to go in there and make a police report and cite the owners for the dogs getting in our property. And I'm surprised because the police officer walked through their house to the backyard, and I'm surprised he wasn't high when he walked out. When they opened their door, I'm not joking, if I'm sitting in my driveway, I would get a contact high if I sat out there for long enough. And what the cops say is, oh well, they're doing it in their house, so it's not a big deal, which is fine. I don't, like I said, I don't really care.
Regardless of the weed, the dogs are like that is a clear and present danger. That is a real issue that's going on right now.
Yeah, they did cite them, which is cool, but I mean, is it going to take somebody getting hurt before something is done?
Did you just throw your neighbors, dude?
He's in Texas. He already said.
Who's going to get hurt, dude?
Somebody's going to get hurt.
Somebody going to get hurt real bad. Somebody.
I'm almost to the point to where if I were to have to protect myself with the way I see fit, I would be in trouble for discharging something in a neighborhood.
Yeah.
It's like this stuff is right next door, and my kids sleep 10, 20 feet away from their windows,
Yeah, you're just trying to be a
and
good dad.
they're selling drugs, and all it takes is a bad drug deal.
Wait, they're selling drugs?
Well, buying. I mean, if they're buying, I'm sure they're selling. We have videos that we've sent in to
Yeah, dude, I bought
the
a car
rental,
once,
the
and then
rental
I
agency.
started a dealership myself.
Buying a car is the gateway drug to
It is,
selling
dude.
cars, honestly.
I was going to say, very few people have sold weed that have not also at one point bought weed. I guess technically to even sell it, you had to have been buying it unless you were growing it.
Yeah.
But I get the concern. Let me ask maybe a more practical question. Have you talked to these people about it?
Yes. So we were having issues with their dogs for a while, and my wife actually talked to the wife next door. After some heated words, we got to kind of a friendly terms. We would tell them, "Hey, your dogs are keeping us up all night," and they were pretty respectful. They put them away, and we were great. But it's to the point now; it's to where they're back barking. So 3, 4, 5 hours a night. I get up at 4 in the morning to go to work.
Let me ask you this.
And, yeah, go ahead.
At the danger of reducing customer satisfaction on this call, right? What would be the dream scenario for you? Like, what is a win? Like, we're going to talk about what your options are, but like, what would you like? What feels right to you?
I think they should be. I mean, based on from what I've seen on the rental agreement from the rental agency that rents to them, our HOA rules and county ordinances, it looks like they should be evicted. So, and we've tried to go the route of going to the rental agency, and it's of no avail. It seems like they just don't even care.
Bill, of all the things that he said so far, I feel like the liability created by the dogs is the one that, if I was an ownership group, I would be the most concerned about. How about you?
Yeah, absolutely. Especially because you're diving a little bit into the legal side. They're renting a home to someone that has a condition of the home that is now a violation of that lease. And if that person allows the dogs to get out and hurt someone else, there is no doubt in my mind whatsoever that some lawyer is going to sue all the way up the chain. They're going to sue the homeowner. They're going to sue the HOA if the HOA hasn't done anything. I mean, heck, they might even sue the cops. That's going to be a harder case. But definitely the ownership group and the rental agency, and now it's going to start creating a problem, which actually points itself to a interim step prior to having to hire lawyers and all that might be helpful if we want to dive into that. I mean, one thing is that I can guarantee you that the people who hired the rental agency don't know what's happening. The actual owners, whether it's a private equity group or some privately owned group or just somebody that has a couple of homes, they don't know that this is happening. And as soon as they start realizing that as the owner, they're going to get named in a lawsuit when these dogs bite somebody or the damage they cause, right? Chewing through stuff.
Right.
You said you got a hold of their lease?
I do have is because it's a nationwide rental agency. So apparently they lease in a bunch of different states. I wasn't able to get my hands on a rental agreement for Texas, but I found somebody's lease that is in Florida, and it was in 2023. So I mean, Florida's just about as crazy as Texas. So I would think that all of the agreements and rules are about the same.
Maybe.
And I went.
Well,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I said maybe. One of the things you kind of try to do the analysis starting with like what's the easiest to find, and then you move into like what's the most effort. There may be a dangerous breed clause inside the lease, and so if you could somehow get that communication to the person at the property management or the ownership group, they might be forced to get rid of the dogs or move, and so that might be a way of getting rid of these neighbors without an eviction. Like, it's a long shot, but a lot of leases, especially with large property management groups, do have dangerous breed exclusions, so that might be worth taking a pass and looking at. The other thing that I'm thinking is, who have you tried to contact so far?
So we have contacted the HOA, and the HOA has been pretty useless because they don't really get involved when it comes to rental agencies.
Yeah.
We've gone to the extent of contacting the leasing company ourselves.
How?
And email, getting somebody on the phone is, I don't know how to do it because I can't get anyone real. It's either a messaging machine or it just keeps ringing.
You guys have any questions or comments?
No, it sounds like it sucks, though. Would you be mad if they got evicted and then the next people that moved in had 6 vicious dogs?
You know, after the past like 3 tenants, I wouldn't be surprised.
How long have these people lived there?
They're going on about 18 months, which I'm hoping they don't renew the lease because they do about 18-month lease.
Have the dogs always been vicious, or is it just new?
Since they've got them, they barked a lot, which was annoying. But when they get out, they've gotten more and more vicious. Like yesterday, when they got through my fence, they were coming to hurt somebody.
How did you get away from them?
I also have chickens in my backyard, so I guess they wanted a bite to eat. So
Well, at least the chickens the dogs will probably be full by the time they get to your kids. Yeah.
yeah.
Are these legit? Are these legit like pit bulls? Because I have this image that you painted as like those crop deer fucking diesel pit bulls.
No, they're not the expensive like ludicrous like Atlanta style pit bulls. They're the ghetto like backyard breeding, mutts. Pretty much it's just a lab and a pit bull. But I mean,
Aw,
they're vicious enough.
Sounds cute, honestly.
Dude,
This
sounds
is
like you're
exactly
sounds
the
like you're
kind
being a little bit of a bitch about this. Okay.
This is the exact kind of dog my 3-year-old would be like, puppy, and then I'm like prying her out of the jaws. But look, I'll tell you. Here's one thing that can help as you're having some of these conversations. I do think that practically going to the owners themselves, sending an address so you can look them up on the appraisal district, find the actual owner, send them a letter. Even just sending letters citing some of these laws that I'm about to talk about is going to help because it's making you the squeaky wheel. Someone is going to read this who's low level and go, wow, that's a lot of legal shit, and they're going to move it up the chain to someone else. And if you become one of the top of properties that is being looked at by someone up top, the calculus will change at some point.
I don't think I've ever done this in the history of the show. We're like 160 calls in. Have I ever recommended go hire a lawyer?
Maybe once.
I don't think I've done it. Maybe once. Maybe one other time. How much is your house worth? Sorry, I know it's a personal question, but like I'm gonna do the analysis of like the money in this right now.
My house is probably I think 340. I think.
Okay, so like you have a $340,000 asset, and the property value is potentially at risk from having a neighbor like this, not even including the fact that there's a danger to your family. So
presumably your kids are worth at or about the amount of your home. So
yeah, I didn't ask him
them.
how
Some
much
of
his
them.
kids are worth, but I think that it's really worth spending a little bit of money to hire a lawyer to cause absolute heck and to lay out very clearly to this property management company and to the ownership, hey, there's real liability here. You guys are a ticking time bomb away from a really large lawsuit. I need you to come in and straighten this out. That seems right to me. I feel like he's going to continue to get ignored unless he brings in the hammer.
I agree. I think having this on a law firm letterhead is going to amp up the seriousness. It's going to increase the chance that this gets to the right kind of person at the rental agency or the ownership group that's going to do something about it. It might even get the HOA to do something. Even if they came out and issued some tickets or violations, that's going to help bolster the evidence that you have that this is truly a problem. It might even cause the police to rethink it, though I'm going to doubt that. You're in an unincorporated area of one of the largest counties in America, population-wise, so the amount of things they're going to care about is going to be pretty low. Also shocked that they weren't just arresting people for crimes right in front of them, but who knows, maybe they took a smoke on the blunt as well, right? Who knows?
Wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I mean, you've got nuisance, right? You already know that. You've got nuisance from the weed coming over, the dogs barking, all the issues. You also have trespass. When the dogs destroyed the fence and came through, the dogs are considered a part of the other people. It's their property has come onto your property. So you've got more than just kind of this is annoying or maybe these people are violating their lease. That's kind of between them and their landlord, but these are the things you can do. And using that language, a lawyer will be able to kind of cite the ordinances, cite the statutes that are involved, and also the penalties. And just seeing that in writing, it's maybe a couple paragraphs, right? Page and a half, but it's going to give some more attention where otherwise wouldn't, and hopefully lead to the right result, which is get these people to comply, or if they're not going to, get them out of there.
Yep.
Yeah, that's one thing. Like the one time the dogs, they keep running across our property, and they ran out and tried to bite my son when I was coming outside one time, and we called the police, and the police is verbatim said, "We don't arrest dogs."
Wow.
I was like, "Are you fucking crazy?"
This also might be if you've got like a big national landlord or agency that's running it. There's a number of television stations and shows that are doing things about how large companies that rent out tons of homes are creating a problem for HOAs and for communities and neighbors. And it's like, look, there's no problem if someone wants to own a bunch of homes and rent them out. That's fine. It's just if you think you're above the law and you don't have to enforce the rules with your tenants.
Right.
And so there's also some angle there. Look, you could just share the letter that you put together, right, with a little bit of a narrative, and it might get some more attention. Leave a 1-star review on the rental agency group, right? I mean, those are those little things, the squeaky wheel in this kind of environment that'll make people go, fuck, I guess we should get rid of these weed smokers, these criminals.
I have a question for this man.
Yeah.
What does almost bite my son? Like, what is that to you? Because if it's a big fucking dog ravaged, what's almost bit to you?
So when we were going to, I think my son had a Boy Scout meeting or something, and we were leaving the house. I opened the door and the dog was barking like in front of my door. So when my son opened the door, it like charged at him. So
and you had
I
to like
pushed my
shut the
son
door
behind me, and I was going to discharge the dog pretty much. And somebody came and got the dog from the yard and took him back inside. So that was kind of what.
Yeah, that's kind of because I don't know
edge.
if this makes me a fucking psychopath, but if my neighbor had a dog, because I have little kids, I have a 3-year-old, an 8-year-old, and a 15-year-old, and if like my 3-year-old opened the front door and my neighbor's dog was like snarling in the front, my course of action would be go to the neighbors and be like, I'm gonna fucking cut your dog up and eat it if it ever fucking comes into my yard again.
Yeah.
100%. And yesterday when I went out there, the dog was in my backyard. Somebody came in the backyard while their dogs were in my yard barking, and I screamed at the neighbor. I said, if he comes in my yard again, I'm gonna put a bullet in his fucking head. And he had the audacity to say, fuck you. It's like, dude, your dogs are in my yard right now barking at me.
Dude, pull a
and
Godfather
you're
with
yelling
these
at me.
people. Put the dead dog in their bed while they sleep.
That's what I was thinking.
That was not the lawyer that said that.
Listen,
from
I
a
did
legal
jury-
perspective,
I did jury duty a week
you
ago.
don't want to trespass. If you're going to do it, you put it on a pike in your own
There we
yard
go.
to
Overlooking
avoid-
the
That is
property.
not legal advice. But look, Sean Carter, this is a dangerous situation. As a dad myself, I got a 6-year-old, 3-year-old. I would definitely put the dog down and would, at the very least, have said what you said to your neighbor. I mean, you've got real legitimate complaints here. Sometimes we get people call in, and that's why you hear some of the skepticism, some of the questions from us, because we really got to know what matters, what aren't. Is someone being a snowflake here, or are they dealing with the bad situation? And this is a bad situation, right? I mean, I got to say, don't look a gift horse in the mouth on free secondhand smoke from a blunt, but you be you. I get it. You don't want your kids to do drugs till they're at least 10. I totally
lawyer
understand
question
it.
for you.
Yeah.
And not promoting animal murder. Okay?
Right. I mean,
But-
I am Asian, so I'm
Listen,
fence.
moving on. All right, I'm not doing that. If this dog ran onto his property,
Yeah.
and is as vicious as his documented, and he shot the dog, I mean, I'm sure there has to be some sort of potential criminal proceedings, like he might get arrested, but
Potentially.
what would the lawyer outcome be in that perspective? Like, of a rabid dog came onto my property, I shot the dog.
Whether rabid or not, it comes down to, did you have a subjective, reasonable apprehension of fear for yourself or for someone on the property? Technically, also, even property damage could be an issue as well, right? But if the dog just happens to cross your yard, that's not going to do it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like a little Shih Tzu.
and-
It's like, I was fucking...
Right, that's why you see...
I was afraid for my life.
Right. You see the full range of this where if a little, like let's say is a really petite one, like my mom is under 5 foot, she weighs like 100 pounds, right? A dog that the rest of us wouldn't really be that afraid of, she's deathly afraid of. She got bit by a dog when she was little, all that stuff, right? So the real apprehension becomes the justification if you end up having to discharge your weapon, or frankly even pull it, right? Because technically pulling a weapon could be a crime depending on the circumstance. So it is a dangerous situation. I would continue to file reports, call the police, get those numbers, because if you do end up needing to take legal action, the first thing a judge is going to do is do just what we did and ask all these same questions. And for you to be able to go, this day, called the cops, this day, here's the incident, this day, here's the cops, this day, we called the HOA, we've done everything we can, and now we're sitting here, whether it's a judge or a jury or peers, they're going to look and go, man, this dad did everything he could to protect his family, and okay, now I guess we got to actually close the book on this one. So, Sean,
Yeah, we
go ahead.
have an entire file going for about a year now of every little thing that's happened. these people, one of the tenants has even been trespassed from our property.
Wow.
So what they would do is they would walk up up my driveway onto my patio and cross over to their patio. They would do this all the time, and I just asked them. I said, "Hey, can you stop, please?" Because I'm at work and I see somebody coming up with a hoodie on, up my driveway. I get kind of nervous.
Do you live in a duplex?
No, I live in it's just pretty much just homes sandwiched together. I'm about 20 feet from their house. We just live so close.
I really think that you need an attorney to draft a demand letter and get it to the ownership group. And it can't be an email to middle management that's too stupid to even realize how serious the issue is. It needs to be somebody going, oh, wow, I could lose my job if this situation continues to go untreated, because a lot of people in these types of property management companies, they will not do something until they feel like they have to.
Yeah,
And
even if you're sending it to like the property contact, you could just send it to headquarters, find Google chief legal officer for, or general counsel or just legal department, and send a couple copies out, because eventually it'll get to someone who will go, this is a problem we don't want to have.
you could even, you know what, if you wanted to just save a little bit of money, you could do a bill set and look up legal counsel for the ownership group and send it directly to them, because they're going to kick it to whoever the appropriate people are. But I do think a lawyer would be more effective.
No, lawyer, I agree.
Lawyer's better.
Give
Lawyer's
you that
better.
Extra oomph.
We don't know how broke he is. He doesn't sound,
Hey, man, we just got done with Biden. You know how broke I am.
The inflation, it's real. It's real.
All right, caller. Do you feel like you were heard
Fuck
today?
you, man.
Caller, do you feel like you were heard today?
I do. I appreciate the help.
Thank you for telling your story. I appreciate you coming to Harley Legal.
Thanks, Sean.
Love you.
All right, what'd you guys
That's so
think
funny.
about what'd you guys think about the first call?
Bro, I'd be pissed
Yeah.
if I were him.
This isn't like a funny situation. I actually kind of feel bad. Like, did he say his dogs, those dogs chewed through his fence? And
Yeah.
That's pretty.
I'll tell you what, dude. That is the one thing, though, when you're going to buy a fucking house. That's like kind of the last thing you think about when you're buying one is like the neighbors.
Yeah.
Right.
If like the neighborhood looks good, it's like, oh, sweet, you're all enamored by the home. Bro, if I ever go to buy another home, my neighbors are pretty chill, but if I ever go to buy another, I'm gonna fucking camp outside the neighborhood for like a week
It's
and just
so smart.
just people watch and
Yeah.
see what happens and what sounds I hear and shit. Because, dude, that's like your kingdom, bro.
Well, a lot
You
of
can't-
times the realtor will take you to the house at like 2:30, and they'll be like, "Okay, look at the house. Okay, let's go." But if you came back at like 8 p.m., it's a whole different neighborhood,
yeah,
and like
right.
so you really
Yeah.
need to check it. At
No, that
different
sucks
times.
though, dude. I can't believe he's been so restrained to this point. I don't know if I'd kick the dog in the head. I don't know, man.
I got guns all over the backyard ready for squirrels, much less rabid dogs.
I do want to, just in defense of the neighbors who sound terrible. They
Wow,
sound
he's
terrible.
defending
Just
the
to
poor.
play devil's
What a
advocate.
good lawyer.
Just to play devil's
I
advocate.
didn't know we were doing
On
pro
our
bono
next
work
call,
here today.
neighbor with dogs treated poorly by their
I
neighbor.
just want to say, to play devil's advocate here, okay? There was one fact that I went, oh no, and it's that he has chickens, because I don't know how well trained a pit bull is going to be to not see chickens as a snack on the go. And so
What were these
like,
chickens wearing is what
Yeah,
Josh is asking.
I'm saying the chickens were kind of asking for it. Like that is a lunchable.
I also heard that as a flag myself.
Yeah.
Like, we were being attacked in our backyard. It's like, were you being attacked in the backyard, or were the chickens being attacked in the
And
backyard?
that's what I was thinking.
But
yeah.
he then quelled that when he said the dog was at his front door, presumably
yeah, that was a different
snarling.
situation.
I
Yeah,
believe
yeah.
this caller. I just want to say maybe I would get rid of the chickens and see if that calmed the pit bulls.
Have
You know
you
how
seen
fucking
egg
expensive
prices?
eggs are? dude?
Yes.
What are you doing? All right, rich
What are you
lawyer.
Yeah, rich lawyer. Jeez.
Jesus Christ. You
my
buy that
God.
strawberry from Erewhon, don't you?
Yeah, he's got 3 dozen eggs right now in his backpack. Ridiculous.
He eggs his own house for fucking fun.
just
Yeah.
to flaunt it.
You guys can be as mean as you want to me. I edit these videos. No one's ever gonna see it.
One day he wrecks his McLaren, the next day he's just smashing eggs on the ground. Like, look at me. Oh, man. That was
If
a
you
good
have a
time.
bad neighbor story, reach out to us. We want to hear it at Hardly Legal. Or check out this video that YouTube wants you to see. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We're going to be here for you when you need that cheap date.